Hey Facebook peeps. So just gonna go live for a little while here. So I had some stuff come up for me recently in the writing process. I'm writing a book and I'm also like having stuff come up for my program, my coaching program. So I'm kind of doing both simultaneously. Anyway, a memory came up for me and it brought up some wisdom that I wanted to share with everybody. So it's about not sharing your relationship drama with your friends and your family. Now, I'm not talking about abuse, obviously. If there's any kind of abuse in the relationship, get out, tell people, that's not what I'm talking about here. And I spoke to this a while back about, if you have a partner and you can't stand your mother-in-law or you can't stand their best friend of 20 years, that's not something that's going to change. So venting constantly to your partner about that isn't very productive, and it's actually going to cause a lot of tension in the relationship. So having a friend or family member to vent to about that kind of stuff can actually be pretty healthy and a good outlet to have to vent your frustration. But what I'm talking about here is, like, let's say you have an issue with your partner. Let's say it's a financial issue, a fertility issue, sexual dysfunction, anything like that that's personal between you and your partner specifically. It's always best to just talk to your partner first about whatever it is. And I find, like, with so many of my clients, they're spilling all of this stuff to me. They're telling me all these things that are going on in their relationship. And when I ask them, they're like, they haven't addressed any of this to their partner yet. And I get it. Like, it's easier to talk to a total stranger sometimes. It really is. And in fact, it's probably better to talk to a stranger about that kind of stuff than it is a family member or a friend. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's 3 types of friends. We all have had these type of friends in our life at some point, okay? So you have, type 1 that, let's say you, okay, so women tend to do this more than men, okay? Men don't gossip with their friends as much as women do. Like, women gossip about everything that's going on in the relationship with their friends. Men tend to keep stuff inside more, and maybe on a night out drinking with the guys, stuff will come out, but typically guys don't really gossip too much about their relationship issues with other guys, to a degree. But anyway, so let's say you're a woman and you're in a relationship with a guy, and things are going good for a while, and then maybe he's suddenly not interested sexually. You're initiating and he's not in the mood, and that's abnormal for him, right? So you start panicking, like women do this. We're like, what's wrong with us? Why doesn't he want us? Is he cheating? Is there something going on? So rather than just address it with our partner, a lot of times what we do is we go to our girlfriends and we bring it up to them. Like, what's going on? What do you think is going on here? Well, you're going to have type 1 friend who isn't really going to want to upset you. They want to be nice. Their intentions are good. So they'll be like, oh, girl, don't worry. Don't stress. You're overreacting. Just, let it go a while. Don't freak out about it. It's probably nothing. So these friends aren't really doing us any favors, because what they're doing is they're conditioning us to stuff down. Like, if your gut instinct is telling you something is wrong and you got a friend that's telling you, oh, don't worry about it, you tend to stuff it down and just let whatever it is go a little bit longer. And I've been that person. As somebody that didn't trust my intuition that often in relationships, I looked for those kind of friends that would just kind of validate that and be like, oh yeah, you're overreacting, you're being paranoid, so that I wouldn't follow my intuition. And then come to find out something was going on. And had I addressed it sooner, it would have maybe fixed the relationship. It would have, it would have addressed it sooner rather than waiting till there was this big void in the relationship. So those type of friends don't, even though they mean well, they're not really helping us, when they give us that type of advice. To just, oh, let it go, don't stress out, you're, being paranoid, you're overreacting. They're not really helping us, because they're conditioning us to kind of well, yeah, let me let this go. Maybe I'm just, being paranoid. So then you have the middle of the road friend. It's, the common sense, logical friend. I'm lucky to have one of these. You know, she's someone that doesn't always tell me what I want to hear, but she tells me what I need to hear. And sometimes I might be like, bitch, I didn't want to hear that, but I know that's what I needed, you know? And, you know, she doesn't sugarcoat shit, you know? If she's not just going to try to make me feel better, but at the same time, she's also not going to try to make me feel like shit. So then that brings me to, like, friend number 3, which is the negative Nancy. Like, this is the one that, like, oh, girl, he's cheating on you. You better go check him out. He is doing something. Like, they're just going to get in your head, and they're really going to fuck with your head, and they're really going to make you think the worst possible thing is going on. And they don't know, you know, they don't know either, but they're not helping you. They're creating more drama. And so by the time you're done talking to this type of friend, you're so, like, you're so worked up. You're so worried and stressed. And you might even, like, go at your partner, you know, like, and get an argument. Like, you know, just like, you know, hey, we got to talk about this right now. And so you go into attack mode, and they're like, what the fuck, you know, like, they back off. They don't want to talk about it. You know, they're feeling attacked. So, you know, this type of friend's not helping us either. You know, and when you think about, like, your relationship, okay, think about a football team. If you're on a football team, you're not going to go out and talk to people that are not on the team, like, say, your opposing team or your fans even. You're not going to go tell all of these people all the weaknesses that are in your team and, you know, what y'all are struggling with. You just wouldn't do that. Yet so many of us do that in romantic relationships. We treat our partner like an opponent that, you know, we've got to formulate a game plan against, instead of a teammate that we should be strategizing with on how to make that relationship stronger and more, you know, solid. You know, like, healthy communication is the key to intimacy and trust in a relationship. And by going outside the relationship and talking to everybody but your partner, you're not building that trust, that foundation. And that's a very immature relationship, actually. If you can't talk to your partner about things as they come up, it's a very immature relationship. And so what brought this up for me, it was a memory that I had from high school, 9th grade. So I started 9th grade in a school that was out of town. I didn't know anybody, and I met, like, this one girl. We became good friends, and I was her only friend too. But, like, after, like, a couple of months, I got a boyfriend, and then I met another female friend, and so we were all hanging out initially, the 4 of us, like, at lunchtime and stuff. But then, you know, the first girl, she started retracting. She kind of went off on her own. She didn't want to be around us. So one day we're coming back from lunch, and we're rounding the corner to go to his locker, just in time to see her slipping a note into his locker. And we caught her red-handed, and she was, like, all flustered and nervous, and she said some strange girl gave her this note to put in his locker, right? And I knew it was total bullshit. So he opens the letter, and we read it, and it says, I know Jennifer Walls really well, and she was recently pregnant and had an abortion, so you need to ask her about that. I'm like, first of all, I've never been pregnant. I've never had an abortion. And, like, this was 9th grade. I was still a virgin. I didn't even give anything to this dude yet, right? But she was writing this letter because she was trying to break up that relationship and destroy my reputation with my other friends so that she would be my only friend, right? Like, she could have her friend back. So, you know, I called her out. I was like, this is your handwriting. We swap notes all the time. This is your handwriting. And she denied. And I was like, I was done. I cut her out of my life. And then, like, 2 years ago, she friend requested me on Facebook. And I was like, no, bitch. No, you're not coming. You're not coming into my life. So, yeah, Scorpios can hold a grudge for a long time. But anyway, that kind of came up for me, that memory, as I was writing, and it was a good lesson. It was a very early lesson in the, not everybody that claims to be your friend, even if they claim to be your best friend, they're not always wanting to see your team win. They're not always looking for your relationship to work. So you got to be careful with who you share your relationship drama with, because some people, you know, they're either not helping you, but they're trying to help you. They're trying to be nice, but they're not really helping you. Or they're deliberately trying to sabotage you. So neither one of these are really healthy scenarios. Like, especially if it's something, really personal in the relationship. Like, let's say you got, that third type of friend, and let's just say you finally, discuss things with your partner, and like you find out that, he's not cheating. Maybe he's got a side porn addiction that you haven't been aware of. Maybe he's masturbating 3 times a day and he has nothing left for you. So, or, he's got financial stress. Those are things that a couple can work through. So maybe you work through this, but then you got the negative Nancy on the side going, so what happened with that relationship issue you had going on? What's going on? So what do you do at that point? You've already brought this person into your relationship drama. What do? Do you say, oh, it's nothing, we worked it out, don't worry about it? Well, now that person's aggravated because you're not giving them the full story. So they're going to create the full story. Oh yeah, I know he probably cheated on her. She don't want to say because he cheated on her. And then they might go out into the community and your circle of friends and spread that gossip that isn't even true, because they're pissed because you won't tell them what happened. Or maybe you do tell them what happened, and that's not going to be any better either, because they're going to be like, oh, he's got a porn addiction. Oh, that's degrading. He's a pig. So they're going to judge that, and then they're going to go spread that gossip out into the community too. And then it's going to get back to your partner, and then you're going to have another problem in your relationship, right? So keep your relationship drama to yourself. Keep it in your relationship. I mean, if it's, if something that personal, just work on it together. I mean, if you can't work on it together, then you're lacking maturity in your relationship, and that's not a healthy relationship. So, if you have to, like, if you talk about things with your partner and it's not helping and you feel like you need outside help, then seek somebody that is an objective, unbiased person, intimacy coach like myself, or, a therapist, or a marriage counselor. Like, seek somebody that isn't, connected to you and your partner, that's going to give you, an objective view on things and not really take sides, or, try to sabotage you, because like I said, not everybody is on your team. They're not everybody wants to see your team succeed, like, especially if you've got, those friends that they're in an unhappy relationship, or they're not in a relationship, and, they're just, misery loves company, basically. So they'll try to sabotage your happiness if they see you're happy. And it's very underhanded. It's very, covert. So it's just some things to keep in mind. It's a little bit of wisdom I wanted to share. Just keep your relationship drama to yourself. Don't put it all over Facebook. Don't share, don't make these passive aggressive comments towards your partner, like, that you want him to see and get pissed and wonder about, right? Guys do it too. I've seen guys do it too. It's not as common because they don't gossip as much, but some do. And some of y'all have those guy friends that are like, screw that bitch. You don't need her. You have guys like that. So it works both ways. It's just more prevalent with women. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to share for today. So that's my 2 cents. Spend it how you like.